Alright, so today we continue with our class Kitzur Shulchan Aruch. And this session and all of them should be dedicated to Rifua Shlema to our dear Rabbi Reuven Shlita, Yaron Ben Doris, also Rifua Shlema Yehudis Bas Noach, Ariel Ora Basana, Mi Marasi Rachel Bas Brindel, David Shlomo Ben Sandra, and also a quick release of Moshe Shmuel Ben Pnina. BeEzrat HaShem. Alright, so we continue with our class Kitzur Shulchan Aruch, and we're on Siman 77. And our topic, laws of Kiddush and meals at the time, at night, and by day. So we're on laws of Shabbos. So last time we finished a very long section. It was about prayers. Well, what prayers we say, what do we do if we made a mistake, and right. Stuff like that. So it's, the article Siddur, I think they done unbelievable job on the end, like on the back. It is compilation of all the short halachas inside. It says if someone forgot to do this, to say this and this, see the page, see the comments. Or if you said this in not appropriate season, see what needs to be done. So right. But in some Siddurim, in old ones, so as I said, I used to pray in that shul, and the shul was almost 100 years old, almost 100. When it closed, I think it was 98 on 98. Right, I think it was 98 years old, that shul, right, when it closed because of the coronavirus. And and they have Siddurim from the beginning of 19th century, right? That's when people came from Europe and they brought their Sidurims, and there were books there. So sometimes I look at these books, it's unbelievable. From 1850, from 1870, right? With the czars, stamps that the book is checked. It's very interesting. So in those Sidurs, there is no commentary, exactly zero. So meaning that the text itself and other even later Sidurim from 60s, from 70s, they have different, and there are no commentaries. What do you do if you made a mistake? Exactly zero. Okay. So our scroll did an amazing job. Okay, so we start Siman 77, and our topic is laws of Kiddush and meals at night and by day. Okay. So number one. It is a positive biblical commandment to sanctify Shabbos day by words. As the verse states in Shmos 20 verse 8, remember Shabbos day to sanctify it. That is to say, to make mention of Shabbos with reciting Kiddush. One must make this mention of Shabbos when it begins with the recitation of Kiddush and when it departs with the recitation of Havdalah. The sages instituted that this mention be made over the cup of wine, both when Shabbos begins and when it ends. Okay, so let's go over it. Of course, we covered it in our different class, but it was very long time ago. Most people, I think, were not in that class. It's Radiance of Shabbos, I think the class was. But let's start from the beginning, see the commentary, and we're going to explain BeEzrat HaShem. Okay, from the beginning. It is a positive biblical commandment to sanctify Shabbos words by day, right? As the verse states, Shmos 28, remember Shabbos day to sanctify it. So meaning here, from the beginning of this Kitzur, we understand that we have two commandments of Kiddush. One is biblical, one is rabbinical. So at night when the Shabbos starts, it's biblical, and on a Shabbos day, even though it called Kiddush Rabbah, it is true, right? It called, but it's only rabbinical. So right, so and because when something is on a biblical level, as we learn from all of the different classes, including this, of course, so the laws are going to be much stringent, right? In this regard, comparing to the other laws, and that is rabbinical. I say comparing, meaning in some unordinary situation. So if everything is okay, you must do like a normal, like you have to do biblical, all of the biblical, all of the rabbinical. There is no difference whatsoever. But in case of the need, like some extraordinary circumstances, that plays a role. Okay. So the verse says in Shmos, so he gives us a source for this mitzvah. Remember Shabbos day to sanctify it. So meaning we have to sanctify it. How? With words, right? Sanctify with words. Make mention of Shabbos in the recitation of Kiddush. Okay. So, and let's see the commentary. So commentary number 1, Zachor, can denote remembering or mentioning. Okay. So mentioning, I mean, how you remember through the mentioning. Okay, I mean, right, he said it's the same. Okay, we learn from this that he must mention the holiness of Shabbos. This mitzvah is fulfilled with recitation of Kiddush. Okay, and we're going to see like if person does not have a wine for Kiddush, or he did not say Kiddush, or he does not have food, right? Can I sanctify Shabbos? Chas v'shalom, right? There are different circumstances, right? Can it sanctify Shabbos if there is no food, no drink? Okay, so it's very good, good point that we're going to learn, I think, in the next one. Okay. So our sages say straightforward way, sanctify with words, or and they call it these words Kiddush. Okay, sanctification. Okay. Continue. One must make a mention of Shabbos when it begins with recitation of Kiddush, as well when it departs with recitation of Havdalah. And somehow, don't ask me how, I have no idea, but some people, maybe they have teachers like that, maybe they don't read the books, I don't know, somehow. They don't do Havdalah. I don't know how, I don't know why, but I heard many people, they don't know Havdalah. So I told them it's a biblical obligation. What do you mean? No, the Shabbos is over. I said, yeah, the Shabbos is over, like time-wise. Yes, I agree with you. It is over, but you still need to do like there is a procedure, right? So like a specific like religious rite, how you make Havdalah, right? Right, and he says the laws of Havdalah is going to discuss Siman 96. Okay, so basically, but we're not going to get to 96 anytime soon. Right, so again, we have to mark beginning of the Shabbos and end. So that's the holiness. This holiness starts, and this holiness here, the holiness ends. Very important. Okay, the sages instituted that this mention be made over the cup of wine, both when Shabbos begins and when Shabbos ends, right? So meaning that technically you can do without wine, technically, but it's proper to do it over the cup of wine or a grape juice, right? And we're going to see other options. So if somebody does not have a wine, does not have a grape juice, what to do on Friday night, and what to do on Shabbos day. So as we said, they're not equal. Friday night is biblical, and Shabbos day is rabbinical. So we're going to see there is a big difference. And there are some people ask if it's proper. For example, in some places they do Kiddush and Shabbos day on vodka or whiskey. Okay, so I mean, technically, I've been asked this question many times over the years. I think some Chabadniks do that, some other Hasidim do. I mean, if the way I see it, I mean, if a big guy, and he's not going to get drunk from this, and he's not, and he's going to eat a lot, there is no problem. But if they do like the whole like cup of or a glass of this whiskey, I think it's very strong. I mean, right, it's very strong. So how exactly you expect this guy to learn Torah during the day? I'm just asking, just wondering. Okay, but is it allowed? So I think it is allowed. Okay, is it recommended? I say if it's your meal is not going to be long and you're going to take a nap and then you will be able to learn Torah, there is no problem. but otherwise don't do it. Commentary. There's although the biblical obligation to mention the holiness of Shabbos can be fulfilled without cup of wine, the sages instituted the mitzvah be to fill over the cup of wine. So meaning to make it important, to give it importance. And as we have several clips about it, the wine is very, very important, right? Grape wine is very, very important in a Jewish life. Okay, or grape juice. Whoever cannot drink wine is grape juice is fine. Okay, so meaning that you show how important it is. Of course, you make it in a beautiful vessel, right? And some people, somebody just asked me, "Oh, dear student." So the person is not rich, and he is a child. Somebody told him that you have to buy this silver coins. Coins is a count. I said that's fine, but if you're going to wait until you save up money, right, to buy the silver one, and until now you're going to be doing plastic one, it's also problematic. So for all of these people, just so you know, you can buy silver plated. I think it's the silver plated is I don't know, 3 times or 4 times less money. So if you cannot afford, you cannot afford. Okay, but some of the plastic nice looking, but I think the metal would be better. Right, you show how important this mitzvah is. Okay, kois. Okay, so all right, so we finished with the this halacha. So again, quickly overview. We have halacha from our sages on a biblical level, right? To sanctify beginning of the Shabbos and the end of the Shabbos, and our sages say you have to sanctify it with words, special words. They give us text of the Kiddush, right, during the day, during the night, during the day, and right, and our sages say do it over the cup of wine. Continue. Number 2, one may recite Kiddush and eat a Shabbos evening meal, even though it is not yet night. However, those who follow the custom during all of the weekdays to recite Marif, prayer at the ideal time, and who recite Marif early on Shabbos Eve, right? As I mentioned, written in Siman Sif 1, previous Siman. Okay, we're going to explain. Those people are forbidden to eat, beginning from a half an hour before the nightfall. Therefore, if at that time when the Kiddush would be recited, there is not more than half an hour left until the night, they must wait until the night, and then first recite the 3 passages of the Shema, and only then should they recite Kiddush. It is forbidden to eat or drink, even water, before reciting or hearing Kiddush. It's a lot of information, Baruch Hashem, and a lot of comments, and we try to explain because everything is very important. And I heard this question asked, not of me, of other rabbis, and even in Rabbi Reuven Shlita asked, and some people are a little confused, or a little confused about it, and I'm not sure why, because the books are available in this of the series of Rabbi Simcha Bunim Cohen Shlita. I think they're written in simple language, and of course we will elaborate on much deeper level with more examples on what he said. But basically, if you just read that book, you should get a pretty good idea. Of course, I mean with our classes it helps to explain it deeper, but we'll see how many people are confused, right? So let's see. One may recite Kiddush and eat a Shabbos evening meal, even though it is not yet night. Okay, so he's going to explain, but technically, as we learned before, we said that we can accept Shabbos an hour and quarter before the sunset. So meaning that right, it's in a seasonal hours, right? In the seasonal hours. So meaning that it's pretty early. pretty early, and many people, many shuls, not I mean people in shul, in the area where I live, they rely on this actually on this halacha, 100%. 100%, meaning that especially in the summer, in the winter, yeah, nobody starts Shabbos early in winter, but in the summer for sure. Whereas sunset could be like 8 something, like 9 or something. No, not sunset. Well, when a nightfall is going to be 9 something, you're going to wait until night and until this and that. So right, kids are going to fall asleep. Like when exactly you're going to start? 9:30, 10 p.m. And how exactly you would be able to wake up to pray normal minyan, right? So that's the issue. Okay, so it is allowed to start the Shabbos earlier, right? So meaning as we learned before, you have this in Kitzur Shulchan Aruch, we have a separate mitzvah to add to Shabbos, from the mundane with your declaration. So you said that I declare right now it's Shabbos. So and it's within this time frame, an hour and quarter. It's called Plaga Mincha, right? An hour quarter till the sundown, right? So meaning, right? So you just prolong Shabbos. What could be better? Okay. Okay. So commentary. Although the Shabbos begins when it becomes night, if one ushers Shabbos earlier, see 75:1. I think in 75:1 we spoke about the candle lighting, right? Okay. He can fulfill all of the obligations of Shabbos, such as recites in Kiddush, partaking, and evening meal. However, Mishnah Brura writes that ideally one should ensure that his meal lasts until the night, and he should eat kizayis of bread after the nightfall, since there are authority who rule that one cannot fulfill the obligation of the meal if it is concluded before the nightfall. See also Bir Halacha, which say that it is best to recite Kiddush after the nightfall. Okay, so let's stop here and try to understand. So commentary says, there are authorities who permit this, right? As we explained to start Shabbos early, but when I say an hour and quarter, so I mean it's like in some days during the summer, and that's when we start praying. And plus, we have to calculate time until a man comes home. Like sometimes it takes 20 minutes, 30 minutes, whatever. How far people live from the shul, and until you start, and right, it's it's not going to be like for sure. It's going to be most likely. It's going to be already after the sunset, most likely. Okay, so it's already good, right? And at that time, technically, we can rely on opinion that you can recite Kiddush and you can eat meal. But Mishnah Brura says, so ideally eat the last piece of bread. So you can eat a meal and you sit around the table for 1 hour, 2 hours, let's say. But at the end, right, when it's nightfall, so eat a little piece of bread. That's it, right? So meaning kizayis, meaning what is it? 29 grams, less than an ounce. That's it, right? So it's going to be according to all of the opinions. Okay, right? So I mean according to all the opinions, but Bir Halacha says that the best to recite Kiddush after the nightfall. Again, if you can stay up and it's not going to be burden for the family, if you have your parents, elderly parents, and somebody needs to take medicine and somebody needs to go to sleep, right? Some elderly people, you have to understand, they go to bed at 9 p.m., right? If you want to start 9 p.m., it's going to be a burden for them. They're going to say, you know what, my dear son, my dear daughter, you do Kiddush, and I want to go to sleep. I'm too weak. I cannot wait. That's our kids, right? They usually go to sleep 8:30 or something. So now you want to stay start Kiddush at night? Okay, good luck, right? They're going to fall asleep right at the table. Who needs that? So understand. So we have to take all of the things into consideration. But if you don't have kids and you can start later, there is a problem. By me, like most of the by me this in the shul where I go, it's 7:30 p.m. like every Friday night, like during the summer, but in others it's 7 p.m. And if you go like a few blocks further, they start on time. They have several minyanim. One is like it's I think 7 or 7:30. I'm not sure, but second minyan or third minyan they have several like big shul. They would start at after like correct time basically. Correct time. So I mean they would pray Marif at correct time. So meaning until these people come home, maybe it's 10 p.m. Okay. So I mean if family got used to, I guess no problem. But the problem is that they're going to sleep only a few hours on Shabbos. That's the issue. Okay. But okay. So again. Not again, but continue. However, those who follow the custom during all the weekdays to recite Marif in the ideal time. So ideal time as we learned a long time ago. I think it's a third volume. I think it was a second volume, right? So there we said is actually the ideal time is after nightfall for sure. I mean, nobody's arguing, right? For sure, it's at a nightfall, right? And who recites Marif early on Shabbos Eve, right? Just 1 second. So 1 second. However, those who follow the custom on the weekdays, right, and Marif on Friday like earlier, okay, as I have written. 1 second. Those people are forbidden to eat beginning from a half an hour before the nightfall. So meaning that yes, you can recite the Marif earlier if they have a custom to recite Marif at the appropriate time. Now they get some kind of discount and because of Shabbos, and they can start Marif earlier, but Kiddush they cannot start earlier. So meaning that they can but again until they get home, it's going to be Kiddush time. Also, there is not a problem. Okay. But so the right. So commentary. See the above 70, see 70 like halacha 1, that it is ideal to follow the opinion that holds that Marif should be recited only after nightfall. Right? We said it many times. Okay, so no problem. But the issue with this opinion, at least for me, that people like I would need to go to shuls 3 times a day, and for me it's a big burden. So shuls it's not exactly around the corner. 3 times it's big burden. So that's why many places they pray only twice a day. So meaning they start mincha before the sunset, right, and go like after the sunset like with repetitions. They say tehillim, this and that, right, and so for sure the Marif they're going to start after sunset. Okay. So, but ideally, everybody know that ideally it's proper to pray Marif after the nightfall, or as we said, for sure we have to learn it yesterday, right? About Sfira, right? You have to repeat Shema, three paragraph of Shema after the nightfall, for sure. Now, although on Friday night, it is permitted even to those who follow the opinion during the week to recite Marif earlier. With regard to recitation of Shema, however, it is fitting for them to be stringent and consider it as if they have not fulfilled the obligation. So I think it's for everybody. It's all of us should be stringent in that. So meaning this, what he's saying is that for these people who pray Marif after the nightfall, they should consider as that Marif they did not fulfill the mitzvah of Shema. So when nightfall comes, they have to say Shema and then say Kiddush. That's what he means. Therefore, just as all nights, when one did not yet recite Shema, he may not begin meal. Right. So that's as we said long time ago. So don't start your evening meal right until you pray Marif. Okay. Just 1 second. Right. Therefore, yes. So too, one who usually recite Marif only in ideal time should not begin Friday night meal within the half an hour before the nightfall. Okay. If he began his meal before that time, however, he need not to stop meal at that point. Okay. Right, because the time, so what we're afraid of, that he's going to continue his meal, and he's going to maybe get a little drunk and forget to say the Ashma. That's our point. That's his point. Okay, it was number 6. Continue. Therefore, if at time of the Kiddush, if at the time when Kiddush would be recited, there is no more than half an hour until the night, one must wait until night, and then first recite the 3 passages of the Shema. Okay, so meaning in order not to forget. So if it's more than half an hour, let him start Kiddush. Less than half an hour, he might forget, right? And only then should he recite Kiddush. So, right, as again a general rule, don't say don't start eating unless until you pray Mariv. On one hand, on the other hand, and that's Siman will also say that if person has a set time for praying, for example 7:30 p.m. I'm just making up time, right, in the shul. So and he comes home at 6. There is no problem. He can eat. I mean, he's not going to miss it just because he eats now. He's not going to fall asleep. He's not going to miss his prayer with his minyan. There's no problem. So that halacha was said for a person who prays at home, and a person is going to, right, it happened many times to people. People who pray at home, so they eat big meal, maybe sit on a couch, and guess what? They fall asleep, and that's it. They wake up early in the morning, unfortunately. That's what it is. He said, I'm too tired. I want to relax a little, and then I'm going to pray with a better concentration. Our rabbis knew that most likely, and not most likely, but very, very possible that person is going to forget. Okay. Come to Mishnah Berurah writes that one need not object to someone who does not wait, since there are halachic authority who permit him to eat at that time. Okay. However, one who does eat, then must take care to recite Shema later in the evening. So that's what we do. That's what we do in my family. So we just stop, when the time comes to say Shema. We go to by Rabbi Tam. Rabbi Tam is 72 minutes. So when 72 minutes, we know approximately. So we check, we have a calendar. So right, 72 minutes. Oh, so I can say Shema. So it's sometimes it's between the courses. Right, we have some time, what do you need? 3 minutes. So I say the Shema, and that's it during the meal. So, but make sure that don't drink too much. I mean, usually we don't, but yeah. So you can say Shema with full concentration. Again, it's for people who say Shema earlier. Early meaning before the nightfall. It is forbidden. Continue. It is forbidden to eat or drink, even water, before reciting the or hearing Kiddush. So we're going to see the commentary, and it's very, very important. On Shabbos day, it is a little more lenient, especially for women, right? Because they can pray a little later, right? But for right, and even for men, it depends. So technically, if a person needs to drink something before the time came to pray, yeah, there is no problem, right? Right. Of course, not to eat or drink whatever they want, but some things you're allowed to drink. But here in the evening Kiddush, right? It is not allowed. So as soon as you accepted Shabbos upon yourself, so you're not allowed to eat or drink, even water, as he said. Okay. So let's see the commentary. One may wash out his mouth with water before Kiddush. Mishnah Berurah 271:13. Okay. The prohibition against eating or drinking before Kiddush begins with the onset on Shabbos. Or early, if one ushers Shabbos early. See Mishnah Berurah 271:11. Right. So again, it's the prohibition or eating and drinking is according to time. If a person did not accept the Shabbos consciously. For example, women would accept Shabbos in majority of the cases when they light candles. Right? That's when they accept Shabbos. A guy would accept Shabbos when he pray Mariv, right? Mariv of the not even Mariv, like Kabbalah Shabbos, like after the Chadadi, right? Right. So meaning one of the two, right? One of the two. But even if a person did not pray Mariv, or for example, he wants to pray Mariv later, there is no problem. You can pray Mariv later for whatever reason. They wait till the 10th person arrive, unfortunately. Right, unfortunately, right. And a long time ago, we had some retreat once a year, with a family retreat, and there is like one like in a like I don't know, this out of town shul from London, like from 1920s or something, and there was a community not very like. There was a yeshiva not too far from that community, so most of the people would go to pray in yeshiva with their sons, grandchildren, but at the same time they want to keep this old shul going, right? So sometimes we have minions, sometimes we we would not have. It's like very depressing situation. So of course I did not get. I am not used to, but people said hopefully tomorrow we're going to get a minion. So after some time, it happened to us that there was no we missed a minion. So I said who needs that? So why would we go somewhere in a place when there is a big possibility we're not going to have a minion? I better stay home. Go to local shul and have a minion, right? But so maybe what I'm trying to say that sometimes you would start the marif much later, but still you're not allowed to drink. Why? Because officially by the time, according to the time, the Shabbat starts, even if you did not accept it yet officially. That was the point. Okay. So in a situation where one cannot make a kiddush upon the wine or grape juice or other beverage that fits for this mitzvah, and he does not have or cannot have bread, such as one who is in a hospital and cannot hear kiddush from another person, he should eat a Shabbos meal without reciting kiddush. So that's big, it's big kiddush for many people. Many people find it offensive. I'm not sure why, but that's the case, especially for Friday night kiddush, right? So since it is biblical, so it's very straightforward. You need to have wine or grape juice in order to make kiddush, right? If you don't, you need to have bread, so you can do kiddush over the chalas. I think we're going to learn it, right? So if you don't have bread, you can do on cakes, right? Mizoines. So right, if you don't have mizoines, nothing. So you only have, let's say, like you have only salad and you have chicken or fish, whatever you have, right? Cheese, whatever you have, right? So meaning you just eat. That's it. There is no kiddush, but of course you must have some form of kiddush. So some form of kiddush is would be for a man to pray mariv. So when you pray mariv, you say kiddush in Shmona Esrei. It's the same as with a woman. So if she does not have all of these things, so she just prays mariv, even it's not her custom. I mean, not her custom, meaning she usually does not pray. So, but it must be something. Must some kind of acknowledgement. And technically, on a biblical level, a person who recited kiddush actually fulfilled the obligation on a biblical level. Of course, right? Our rabbis say you have to do over the cup of wine, but it is a different story. Okay, so let me quickly check time. I think we can stop here. Right, let's stop here because the next one is very long. Okay, so let's take a 5 minutes break, and we continue after the break with other topics. 5 minutes.